In this video, I will show you how you can create a call trigger interface where you can make a call through an app. Let me give you a demonstration. Let's say I want to make a call to this second device and want to join an online meeting. All it requires is to add the second device's caller ID. Add that here. And when I start this call, as you can see, an incoming call notification is sent to this second device. And when I accept this call, when I accept this call, an online meeting will be established with the help of VideoSDK. Before setting up this project, it's crucial to understand the key services and components that will work together to enable voice over IP services. So these are the components that are foundation for this system. First, we got Firebase. Firebase provides Firebase Cloud Messaging, which is responsible for push notification. Internally, it make use of Apple push notification because FCM cannot send push notification directly to an iOS device. Next, we got PushKit, an iOS framework. It is responsible for reliable delivery of voice over IP call. Even if user's device is terminated, it still display them an incoming call notification. And in order to display that notification, we are going to use CallKit, yet another iOS framework. With the help of CallKit, we can display native UI where user has option to either accept the call or to reject the call. And we are VideoSDK. We provide infrastructure for your meetings. We provide real-time audio video calls. Also, there are other features. If you look at this repository, we got one more file. So this file contains code for our server, basic server that can initiate a call or update call status. To get started with this project, very first step is to clone this repository. Then we will do the Firebase setup. There we will download this Google services file that will be placed inside client app. And the third step is registering that client app to Apple's developer account. There are three steps that we will be following that I will discuss in next segment. So first, let's clone this repository. Inside your computer, inside any folder you want, you can clone this repository by simply typing git clone, then this URL. Let's call it VideoSDK iOS call trigger. Navigate to this folder. Here we got our client app, server app. We can open client app in Xcode. Simply click on this file. Once that's done, the next step is to do the Firebase setup. Here we can create a project. Let's call it VideoSDK iOS call trigger. Once that's done, we can move to Firebase console. This is the console view. We can start with iOS app. We have to provide bundle ID that you can find inside your client app under the signing and capability. Simply copy this bundle ID and just place it here. Next, this file will be downloaded and placed inside the client app. So let's download this file. Now this part is important. I'm saving this file in this configuration folder I created, and all the files that will be created in next steps will be there under this configuration folder. Then simply copy this file, and inside our client app, first let's delete this file. Here we can place that file. Once that's done, the next step is to register this app to Apple developer account. Make sure you have an active Apple developer account. There we will be adding identifier, requesting for a certificate so that our app can receive those voice over IP calls. And finally, we will be adding a key. In final step, while adding this key, we will download one file called Auth Key file that will be added to Firebase, because Firebase is forwarding those call requests to APN. That's why we need to upload that file to Firebase. Along with that file, we also need to add team ID and key ID inside Firebase. So let me give you an abstract overview of the process that I will be following next. So first we will request for a voice over IP services certificate after registering the app. We will download that certificate file, and that certificate file will be converted into two different files. They serve different purpose. They are important for authentication and secure data transfer. Then in third step, we will upload that auth key file to Firebase. So let's start with these steps. Now that we have successfully added our iOS project to Firebase, we are ready to move forward with configuring our Apple developer account. We will be following three simple steps. First, registering our client app to Apple developer account. There we will get an app ID that will be utilized in next step, which is generating a voice over IP services certificate. And finally, we will add a key to our Apple developer account by enabling APN services. So let's start with very first step. For accessing Apple services, click continue. Select app as type and proceed by clicking continue again. Here you can enter a brief description. Let's say VideoSDK iOS call trigger. Next, add your bundle ID by copying it from your client app under signing and capabilities in developer account. Finally, click continue, and you will see your newly registered API ID is listed. The next step is to generate a voice over IP services certificate that will handle incoming call to user's device. So let's see how we can generate that certificate. Click the plus icon and select certificate under services. Click continue. Then choose the previously generated app ID and click continue again. Next, to upload a certificate signing request from your Keychain Access app. To create a CSR, request a certificate from the certificate authority. Here enter basic details. Enter your email address and name and save the CSR to your disk. Click continue and save the downloaded certificate to a specific folder. Finally, in your developer account, select the certificate, click continue and download the newly generated certificate. I'm saving it again in same folder without changing its name. So far we have registered our app and generated voice over IP services certificate. In this last step, we will add key to our Apple developer account and enable APN services. Enter a name for the key. You can also provide a description. Enable APN services. Then click the continue button. Next, click register. Now key is added to this keys list. Finally, download the key and save it as it is without changing its name. Now let's resume our process. We successfully downloaded auth key file. Now we have to upload that file to the Firebase console. So here in project settings, in cloud messaging, you can select that file. As you already know, all the files are in this configuration folder. You can just select this file. Next, you have to add key ID and team ID, which you can find on developer account. Previously, we created this key ID. So I have hidden my key ID here. Copy this key ID and there is your team ID. Then add those values here. And after adding that, upload these credentials. So far we did the client setup, but we also have a server that will be listening to those incoming call and update call status requests. Let's navigate to server. So here we have a very basic server. So let's install all the dependency that are required for this server to work. Let's open our server in VS Code. If you look at server.js file, here we need to specify that auth key file. Also, there is one JSON file that we have to download from Firebase. Again, in project settings, in service accounts, our backend is just a Node.js server, so keep it as it is and generate this key. We can download this JSON file again in that configuration folder, and let's copy this file and just paste it here. Also, let's add auth key file, so copy this file and add it here. After adding this file, also you have to reference this file in this code. Also, add your key ID and team ID. After adding all the configuration, you can simply run your server by using this command node server.js. As you can see, our server is running on port 3000. Let's complete the final step, which is connecting this server to client, so that from our client application we can make these requests to initiate call and update call status. The format for this URL is something like this. First, you have to specify your network's IP, network with which your physical devices are connected. So when you connect your iOS device, you will see that device in this list. So here you have to specify that IP address, which you can find in Wi-Fi setting. Next, we have to specify VideoSDK's auth token formatting, which you can access through VideoSDK's dashboard. If you navigate to app.videosdk.live in API keys, to generate an auth token, simply click on this key icon. Here, select an expiry for your token, then hit this next button. This is the first time you will see your VideoSDK auth token, so make sure to save it somewhere safe place. So let's add this token here in this client app. After following all these steps, you can simply select a device where you want to run this application, and you can simply run this to make this app work. Don't forget to give it a star to this repository. I already demonstrated how this app worked during the intro part of this video. If you still feel like, okay, there is something that is not working for me, you can always connect with us through our Discord community. One more thing, I already created one more video about Android call trigger, and there will be more videos that are coming for different kind of apps like React Native or Flutter. So stay tuned and see you until next time.